Welcome to The Starting Point. In today's episode, we talk about PUBG going live on Xbox today. We go through Overwatch League's preseason, and we ask the question, will esports be as big as the NFL, the NBA, or even the Olympics? I'm Judy, aka Jetset.
I'm Jimmy, aka Jim Basco.
And I'm Kyle Stover, aka Alpha Lance.
And this is The Starting Point. This is the show where we talk about the latest news, team changes, and happenings in the world of Overwatch, League of Legends, and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. We're going to start things off with PvP, where we ask the real questions of esports. Here's one. Will esports ever make it to the Olympics?
I think that it really could make it into the Olympics, given that people give it a fair shot. Okay? So hear me out. So chess, right? Chess is an Olympic sport. That's objective.
That's true.
What else is objective is chess is a very, very mentally intense sport. Anybody that's played the game to any sort of caliber can tell you that's hard to play. Like, if you play against someone that's of equal skill even, you get stumped. When they beat you, sometimes it's just like, what happened? You don't really understand.
Yeah.
When you watch the highest level of chess, you might not understand it because they're playing like 7, 8 moves in advance. But people have recognized that, hey, this is something that's hard. It takes skill. It takes practice. It's a competition between people, which is the most important aspect of it being a sport. You know what I mean? A lot of people forget that. They think of sports, they think immediately of athletic performance, speed, power, raw, like, I don't know why.
Physical exertion.
Exactly. Sport is competition. Fencing is a sport.
Oh, yeah. I used to fence. I fenced for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's
Fencing
amazing.
is extremely intense, not only because it requires precision, flexibility, just thinking overall. It's got everything in it required to make it a sport.
Yeah.
Esports has all the components that they need, and people just needed to give it a shot. I feel like once we have something that's easy to watch, easy to understand, it's really going to skyrocket.
I am a passionate advocate for esports and have been, always will be. And, you know, I respect the top 1% of a lot of things, right? The top 0.01% players of, I mean, I watch a lot of speed running. You know, I used to read the Guinness Book of World Records when I was younger, you know, like things, stuff like that, like always fascinated me because people have, like you said, dedicated themselves to their craft, whatever that may be. No matter how obscure I thought it was, you know, they clearly poured enough time into it to be the best at it. And that competition is incredible. And I don't know, there are some things that I could never say. Like, I guess there's got to be a game that could not be an esport, right?
Like, what is that? Candy Crush?
Right.
Oh,
I could never respect a competitive, I mean, I'm going to say it. I could never respect a competitive Candy Crush player. I can't. Don't sponsor that. Teams, brands, don't look at it.
TSM, please don't come out saying that you've picked up a Candy Crush team. I will lose all respect for you. I agree with Judy completely on that.
Straight up. Like, signed right here. Quote me on this. The first team that picks up competitive Candy Crush is
out the window.
Unsubbed instantly. Like, I can't. So, that being said, the baseline of functioning as a sport is, I would say, like, mind, body, like coordination, right? Maybe decent reaction times. And mental fortitude, right?
Yeah.
With a practiced thing,
Right.
So I think that's what qualifies games like League, games like Overwatch, maybe games like PUBG.
Yeah.
slowly
to
turning.
you know to qualify as things like esports, because just like you said, I think it's just so important that people recognize the amount of effort that goes into being the best of those games.
Yeah, I definitely think it goes unrecognized, that's for sure, because a lot of people, they see these players and they just think, oh, my son's playing at home playing video games. Well, what's the difference? Boy, that's like saying, what's the difference between your family playing basketball in the driveway and the difference between the Golden State Warriors and the Cavs? Like,
exactly.
These are professionals. These are people who have dedicated thousands of hours, and you just can't simply ignore that no matter what it is. People do that in everything. People do it in art. You can't deny another person's art form in the same sense. other forms of sporting exist. It doesn't have to be so single-minded, you know what I mean?
Yeah. In the original Olympics, you know, way back when, where the only records we have are unearned, you know. Greek Olympics were war games done in a civilian setting, you know. Javelin, throwing a spear, shot put, being able to throw a heavy weight, wrestling and running and a lot of things like this. They're very physical competitions, and more things got added. And I don't know how recently chess was added. Point being, chess has been around for a long time. It has had time to grow and become something that's sophisticated. That if you talk to someone who was a professional chess player, you'd be like, oh, wow. Like, I can also picture him smoking a pipe or having a Windsor.
Like having a nice glass of wine on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there is this mental image we have because of its age. And I wonder if video games need time. I'm not saying that that's my only qualifier for it, but I wonder, just as video games stay around in society longer, that would allow more people to think of them as something more legitimate.
So to counter that, I give you this, right? I'm pretty sure. I am fairly certain that soccer is not it's an old sport, but it's not that old.
All right.
And it is a worldwide sensation.
Yeah, I guess if anything, the age would help.
Baseball. You know,
golf.
I know golf. Well, I feel like, how old of a sport is golf?
I don't know.
I feel like, and I also think that age is not a. I think they're doing sports a disservice by making age a factor of quality. You know what I mean? Especially in times like now, where technology is, you know, evolving and developing at lightning speeds, you know, I think that, sure, I understand the kind of dignity of older sports, but I think that esports, I really think that the problem with esports is that, at least in North America, because we don't see this problem in Korea.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure, where it's like completely mainstream to be a professional PC player.
I mean, esports has been on TV for over a decade.
Yeah.
Probably close to 20 years at this point, you know, with StarCraft and all that.
Ridiculous.
So,
oh, man.
Yeah.
it's amazing. So the fact that it's so different there, I think, is a sign, is a cultural sign. I think the problem is that definitely what you alluded to about games originally being sold as toys, I find it hard to even associate with that, because so were basketballs and so were baseball kits and like they're little Fisher-Price basketball, but yet then you can still grow up and be a professional basketball player. That's what I find maddening. Like, why is the issue that you've got kids who play video games in their spare time and then grow up to make lots of money doing that?
Because these are the kids that have also grown up in the 80s, in the 70s era, who are very impressionable at that time. And it's like, the U.S. as a whole, like the culture as a whole, like you were mentioning earlier, was such at a point of machismo and like absolute manliness is the only way of the game, that esports is suffering as a consequence, which is weird, but it's true.
I believe you. And not only manliness, but manliness specifically represented in the form of physical exertion.
Yeah.
Because that's the issue. The issue is that we've now associated athleticism and excellence with physical activity.
Yeah.
Specifically. Not to say that there isn't a lot of physical activity that goes into esports. I mean, we were just talking about switch reaction times and, you know, ridiculous hand-eye coordination. Absolutely. There's a huge physical aspect that goes into esports. But, I mean, no one's gonna argue that, you know, an esport, like someone sitting in front of a computer, is doing more work than someone running up and down a basketball. You know,
no one's going to go into 2018 being like, I want to get fit for this next year, and they go to a fitness center, or, you know, like a Planet Fitness, and they go, would you like our esports routine?
Right, our esports package, including, you know, the wrist movements, right? And I respect it, and I get it. There is a lot of physical exertion and a lot of physical, fitness involved. You have to keep your hand-eye coordination up. You have to, you know, constantly be practicing and being in an ergonomic setting, or else you'll hurt something for gaming for too long. Totally respectable. Not nearly the same as, you know, training to be a pro basketball player or a football player, but that's not what makes them excellent.
Exactly.
Right? The point is that being in the top percentage of performers in the scope of that competition, right? In the scope of that competition is what makes them excellent.
Exactly. It's conducive to them winning, to be healthier, to be stronger, to be more fit. And so they do these things so that their bodies themselves become a non-factor, so they can then strategically play a game of competition against other teams. Esports, you remove the tools necessary to... So it's not that you have to exercise per se, but in esports, rather you practice. You drill your aim. You drill your game sense. You drill your positioning. You coordinate with your teammates, much like in a team game. And it's like these analogs that have to be made between esports and normal sports just aren't being made in the right ways. People try to equate the most wrong things to exercise in sports, and it's like, we get it. It's not going to make us healthy to sit down and play games. That's not what we're trying to do, though. It's for competition. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There is also, though, another factor of also the training that goes into this is something that's, I feel, newer to esports, at least it wasn't always a thing, is coaching.
Yeah.
A lot of people...
Analysts, too.
Yeah, a lot of teams would just be its players.
Right.
And it would just be the players finding some way to make themselves better. And a coach comes in and analyzes a team, says, what are your weaknesses that we can strengthen? What are your strengths we can make stronger? What are better ways to communicate and stuff like that? There was a coach that came onto a team that talked about he didn't realize how much he'd have to tell his players to shower. There are aspects of
Okay.
that is unfortunate.
Very unfortunate.
Because that kind of goes with the stereotype. But it exists.
Yeah.
The reason I bring up the shower thing is it proves that these gamers have a need for growth. That there is room to grow in body, in mind, and skill. And that any player you bring on and everything, I imagine anytime an athlete joins a team, they go through whatever fitness training that this team now demands of them. And there is a physical change, a mental change, and like more hours equals better skill.
Of course.
So coaches being a thing that has become part of the scene because someone has realized how necessary they are, in a way kind of proves that these are athletes. And we love to like be like, oh, cyber athletes or e-athletes, but just athletes.
Cut the crap.
Just athletes.
Exactly. They're just athletes through and through. And it's like, how much more are we going to have to approach esports as a regular sport, as like a regular activity? Like, how much more often is that going to have to happen until it actually is just viewed as a normal thing? Because it's getting there, you know? Like we have analysts for these guys. They have team houses. They have coaches. They have whole staff that they pay. They salary these people to analyze, observe, figure out the game, strategize. Like, people's lives are being made here. And yet some people can still just write it off. I don't understand.
And you know what? As you were talking, I think you touched upon something that I think is really important. So absolutely. I think it's paramount to understand that yes, it is a sport. Yes, it's a significant amount of exertion and skill and effort put into being that good. But I think a huge part of the reason why esports is not as well regarded is because we have such poor examples. You cannot tell me that you need to teach an 18-year-old how to shower regularly.
Yeah, it's pretty pathetic.
Like, I refuse to believe that I'm advocating for you when you don't shower regularly.
Like, come on, you're making our job so much harder for us.
Come on. Like,
In this coach's defense, he did not say all of his players. He just didn't want to say who.
That's totally fine. If there is one, he is wrong, and that is a mistake, and that is why we can't advocate for esports. That is why people can look at it and ridicule us for caring about esports. I hate to say this. I hate to be the one to say, step your game up, but if you're not going to be presentable as something that we can fight for, as a legitimate, like if you don't consider yourself, if you don't behave like a legitimate athlete, we can't advocate for you as a legitimate athlete. Right. And that's what's depressing sometimes. You see BM on you know, bad behavior, bad manners on public events, you know, that are streamed and broadcast to hundreds of thousands of people, millions even. You know, and that's what people are thinking. People are seeing that and associating that with, you know, the nasty neighbors' kids who stay in the basement all day, which is fine. That's your prerogative if you're going to stay in the basement all day. But if you're going to make a living out of this, treat it with the respect that we're trying to treat it with, you know?
Yeah, it's because there's other people. Like, you have to realize esports is a huge thing now. And it's like, sure, you can stay in your basement all day, be the best player ever. Just realize there's going to be other people that are just as good as you are who are going to come along who know how to market themselves.
Wow, and who also bathe.
Exactly. They bathe and market themselves, and they're good at the game. What more could a team ask for?
Triple threat.
These are things that are going to be pertinent and that companies are going to start looking for. I'm glad with the Overwatch League and with League's franchising that they're stepping up the game of players all around. They're monitoring their social and whatnot, but I definitely agree with you.
I remember, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like Overwatch has a really big leg up because they are starting with a professional studio with, you know, all kinds of awesome things going on, lots of production value already in it. But I remember the first time I watched League of Legends Esports, it was the Season 1 finals at DreamHack, which was already an established event.
Venue, yeah.
Just kids in like Hawaiian shirts and shorts like, rolling up to a makeshift stage with like some like bed sheets behind them for backdrop. Like the one of the the MVP.
Were the players the ones in the Hawaiian shirts?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I think they all came in matching Hawaiian shirts because they didn't have like team jerseys.
Classic.
Epic Gamer, man! Shout out to Epic Gamer and Dan. I see you. So I loved it because they were, you know, at the time they were so casual and they were, everything was great. They were just here to play the game, and you could tell that their love was the game. And then you got them on the mic, and it was like some of them had I'm not gonna name any names. Dyrus.
Cough, cough. I feel like he hadn't left his bed.
You know what? He
no.
Social interaction never his strong point, but he's definitely developed over time.
That's for sure.
And the thing is, you know what the thing is, like, I am okay with people being shy.
Yeah.
I am not okay with people knowing that they're going into the public spectrum and not preparing.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to take it a step back because if we think about this and we think that esports does eventually do all the things that it needs to do, I mean, it's already got the eye of major investors.
Yeah.
Millions of people are watching it. You know, people with money are beginning to care whether or not it's for the right reasons. I don't know. But at least money is going into the thing we love.
Right.
Yeah.
So if everything keeps going on the same track and we get more and more eyes for people with dollars on this, do you think that esports could surpass traditional sports?
There are some great things that can be done in a virtual setting that cannot be done in a physical setting, like the fly cams. Like in the NFL, like we had to find a way to have a camera fly over the game to get close to these players without interrupting the game.
Right.
And with video games, that's easy. That's a thing we could do.
Yeah, it's a world we control.
Yeah.
Right.
There is so much we can do in a virtual world. Characters we can make, settings we can build. Like Overwatch is trying to stay somewhat grounded with some fantasy to it, but somewhat grounded in the world. We don't have to do that. We can go into totally different dimensions. We can make up worlds and change physics. I think once maybe esports gets picked up more and then people start accepting that we're going to get creative and kind of crazy, I think some people could get bored of some of these other sports we have.
Yeah.
Like, I have a friend who loves baseball. She loves watching baseball. I can't. It's just too slow a game.
Yeah, like I could play the game all day. Like it's fun, sure, but I'm not gonna watch baseball. Like, I'm sorry.
I like it.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's also for her. She probably would watch Overwatch League and get bored out of her mind. Maybe though I could turn her around and like eventually she'll be like, "Oh my gosh, what have I been doing?"
Yeah, maybe. Like I understand that with some sports. Like in my opinion, baseball is just not watchable. It's too slow for me. It takes a little too long. The innings, man, I've been to like 3 baseball games. Every single one of them, the team that I went to, they lost and the game went on till like 12 a.m. It was ridiculous. I was like, no. But point being is, just like there are different sports to watch and different sports to get invested into, the good thing about esports is that once we have this infrastructure laid down and really pump some money into it, we can swap games whenever we want. And it's not going to create a gigantic issue for the broadcasting companies to swap these games.
Oh, interesting point.
You know what I mean?
That's
I thought you were also talking about stadiums.
Also stadiums, yeah. They've outfitted the not the World Cup, rather the Olympic Stadium in Korea for the league
In
finals.
China, the bird's nest.
Yeah, in China.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of, I think, more in specific.
Exactly. In Beijing.
Yeah, so they set that up. They used the Olympic Stadium. They were able to fill it to capacity. That's ridiculous
That's
for...
cool.
Yeah, the league finals. That's just insane. So I'm saying if they have different sports, they can have different games, different esports venues, different ventures, different things they go into. There's a lot of opportunities, but they gotta get this groundwork laid down, man.
It sounds like you're even proposing like an esports Olympics. Just like just buy traditional sports. We're just gonna have an Olympics just for esports. I'm down.
We don't need your Olympics. We'll go make our own.
I would attend that hands down. Let's go, United Nations. I'm writing you right now. What's the United Nations Twitter? I'm gonna tweet them.
At UN.
Yeah.
Right? That would be so dope.
Another thing towards making esports a more legitimate thing, I feel like merchandise does play a part in that. Because aside from people being able to show their pride, and then they have a financial investment in it, and then also other people see that people put a financial investment, which means they will like make, like right now we just have hats and shirts and lanyards,
Right, yeah.
And then people are going to be like, oh, we could also make a Florida Mayhem shot glass if you would allow us.
That's a tricky situation, but absolutely, merch and purchases are like going to be the bread and butter of esports, as they have been in traditional sports. I feel like that's one of the big reasons a lot of bigger companies have been drawn to esports, is the sheer amount of people that they're not monetizing.
Yeah.
People's time and attention that they're not monetizing.
So you're telling me there's 1 million people who aren't watching this that we could get on that board?
Exactly, because especially after after numbers have been declining for so long in traditional sports, I think there was that one metric where the league World Finals had more people watching it than the NBA Finals.
Yep.
NFL is consistently declining.
Yeah.
It just everything. Just traditional sports are just not as popular anymore.
Yeah,
And
they were a different entertainment for a different time. Someone had a short documentary talking about how baseball was. It came from a time where it's a sport that definitely has an athletic burst to it. There is a lot of weight around, and then swing the ball and run to first base, and he runs to second, and throw the ball and reset.
Yeah.
And we take a breath, and we do it all over again. It's not soccer where you're constantly running back and forth. It's bursts of energy, and people standing out in the field in case the ball comes this far, in case it goes in my direction.
I guess it only makes sense, you know what I mean? Like, if you
Just
look...
where it could go.
Yeah, exactly. Just the natural progression of things. Because at this point in time, your average high schooler is more likely to go home and download League of Legends than he is to go home and pick up a football. And it's like, as weird as that is, as weird as that may sound to some viewers, like, we've been that way for a couple of years now. And I feel like more often than not, more kids that are growing up are just finding that, hey, it's not that weird to be a nerd. I can actually like these things, and there's groups of people that enjoy these things. I'm not being bullied for it. People enjoy these things, and it's mainstream. This is like a change of mindset that's occurring now, and I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, and I'm all for it, definitely. Just let's do it right, you know?
Yeah. I would go even one step further. I would say it's not only been happening for a couple of years. Between the surge of technology and the interconnectedness of the internet, nerd culture has the current generation of adults, of young adults, are nerds and proud of it and have had a foundation of communication.
Right, yeah.
Like YouTube and the social media and Facebook and message boards, and all of it has just served to bring us all together and find out how passionate we can be about all kinds of different things and how good people can be at certain things like video games. So I think that that's now the breeding ground for, you know, babies are being born in situations where like their Legos are their first presents, or like, you know, it's not a bad thing to be into comics, or you know, their babies are reading comics with their parents, and like that's a thing that I am pleasantly surprised to see.
And you brought it up. It's like now more so than ever, it's easier to find groups of people who share those interests. I really think that was a great point. We're finally like one of the first generations that are being like growing up or just living in an era where everyone has access to each other at like all periods of time. It's like definitely weird to see
for
how
better or for worse.
Yeah, for better or for worse.
Yeah. I think what's really important is that esports is grounded in legitimate excellence, right? Esports is just legitimate excellence. Now it's up to these excellent players to be excellent examples, and for our culture in North America to recognize that fact, that they are just as competent and excellent at what they're doing as sports stars can be, traditional sports stars can be at least. Leave us a comment down below if you think that esports should be in the Olympics, or if you think it might even be bigger than traditional sports. Now it's time for the roundup, where we cover tournament news and recaps. So Kyle, I heard
from a little bird.
Little birdie called Twitter.
I got this distinct impression that something really important just happened for the Overwatch League.
Yes.
To put it slightly.
So Jimmy, could you explain it to me? No, just kidding.
So, long story short, basically, we've had our first Overwatch League match. Not quite official in a way. We had a pre-season kind of a show of arms, if you will. So the Overwatch League teams have officially come together. They're all in LA right now. And we've had our pre-season matches where we, for the first time, get to see what Blizzard is doing with the Overwatch League for a setup, for spectator mode with their new color scheme system. And we got to see the players come out, show maybe not their A+ game, but like their B game, because it's doesn't quite count, but they still got to show off. And we got to see them come out in uniform.
Wait.
Finally.
I mean, that's cool, but the games don't count at all?
Yeah, since it is their preseason matches, it's just all exhibition. So it's not even for like seedings or anything. Since it's the way the format of the upcoming games, like when the season actually starts, is that they're going to be playing, I think, multiple games a day. So per day throughout the week. So it's not going to be, they'll play for like points and standings and such, but nothing in the preseason. It's all good in the hood. It's all just, for fun.
Yeah.
So, okay, how do you feel about your first ever games as a franchise, regional, city-based team? How did it feel? How did it feel to witness that?
I'm excited.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll leave it short at that.
Yeah, I feel pretty good. Finally, honestly, seeing that arena finally get set up is sweet. Okay, so the way they're using it is awesome. They're using a lot of screens, so it's a lot of colors, super engaging, lots of fun stuff. But I think the best part, like you mentioned, is the fact that it's city-based franchising. So we had San Francisco Shock coming out yesterday against the Florida Mayhem in the first matchup of the preseason. And, even though it wasn't a New York team, still, just being able to root for Florida or San Francisco, I can only imagine. Because I know I'm waiting until NYXL goes up there, and I will be cheering. You already know it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing about the Overwatch League that makes it so
Compelling.
I want to say casual friendly, is that even though my parents know minimally about Overwatch, if there's a Minnesota team, I could say like, oh yeah, you should check out the Minnesota Highlanders, and they will get behind that. They will be going and buying Highlander merch and everything because they know Overwatch League is a big thing to me, and they'll be able to choose some team to stand behind, even if it's just because of where they're based.
Yeah, I honestly can't wait for that because, like you said, it's going to be so big to the casual. I know I can finally go up to my sister or my brother. They don't play Overwatch that much, but I can be like, hey, New York has a team. Do you want to go see the New York team play Boston? No matter what the game is, you're going to go watch New York play Boston. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, it's awesome.
Not only did we get to see the teams come out to play, what I was really excited about was we finally got to see the interior of the Blizzard Arena. Now, it's 450 seats, so it's not the biggest arena we've heard about and everything. It's no Madison Square Garden, but it's 450 seats made on made for a stage that is specifically made for esports. And seeing it in action, I did not realize how cool this set was going to be. Because at first I was just thinking, oh, cool, it's going to be a nice stage. There's going to be a good amount of screens. There's going to be lights. No. The entire stage is a giant screen.
Yeah.
Whenever they're like, and our next match is going to be Dorado. They have like the loading screen wallpaper on the entirety of the screen. It is as if the entire stadium was suddenly transported to this map. It looks so cool. And I wish they'd kind of cut away to it, to the crowd's shot more often.
Yeah.
Because when the matches would end, we'd suddenly get to see like kind of the last few seconds of the screens up. And they now have how in League of Legends, there's like a screen that shows what hero they're playing as. They have that for Overwatch above the players. And so it will actively be showing hero, health bar, and ultimate charge. And with the how quickly heroes can be changed, I didn't think that was something I'd even do.
That's really interesting.
It looks great. And
That's
all the
awesome.
Overwatch League matches are going to be in this stadium. So we might get sick of it, but these stages...
Not me. I'm still not sick of any of League's production studios at all. I'm so blown away, and I've been to multiple live events, and it's just blows me away every time.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
so nice.
League has been franchised for a lot longer, so you have more experience in the long run of it. So
technically, it hasn't been. This is going to be its first season of coming franchising.
Oh,
yeah. So technically, Overwatch Pre-season matches are the first franchise matches that we've ever seen in an esport.
yeah.
Woo!
You can
One
win
for
the
overall.
battle. You win the battle, not the war.
But yeah, because we haven't been to an Overwatch like
Live event.
A live event yet.
Yeah. Overwatch has still not filled Madison Square Garden for 2 nights in a row.
Yeah. I cannot wait till we get to that point. That's gonna be so cool.
That's going to be stoked.
Till we get to that point, huh?
Yeah.
Till we get to that
Till we
point.
get to that point.
I believe in the power of Overwatch, honestly. So all in all, Overwatch Pre-season, major success, high sign of good things to come, yeah?
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
You guys are getting behind New York's team?
Oh, of course. Yeah, no.
You guys are solid Excelsior fans?
My Excelsior jersey and hat are already in the mail.
Ever
All right.
upward, baby.
Ever upward.
Ever upward.
Chat. You got us? Excelsior, sign us. Give
Tell
us
us which-
sponsored gear, we'll wear it on this show.
All day, every day.
We love you.
Tell us which team you're rooting for in the comments, and tell us why, if it's not Excelsior, you're wrong.
Yeah.
It's okay to be wrong.
No.
Now it's time for Hero Select, where we get specifically into team news, like Philadelphia.
Yeah, and they're ever so present Overwatch League team making an appearance at the preseason this JK because they didn't show up because their visas had problems on their teams.
Philadelphia Fusion couldn't show up.
Yeah, like even if they wanted to, they couldn't make an appearance.
Slight difference of not that they were like, yeah, we're not going to come. It was they couldn't.
Unfortunate for sure, but it's the preseason, like the game's getting started. You know, you kind of want to have your team here. I know it's dicey getting the stuff figured out. Visas are hard enough to handle as it is, but maybe there needs to be some clear distinction for I don't know, people on a professional, you know, salaried team. They do grant sports visas, right?
Yeah, I mean, esports has, for a number of years now, has been able to acquire athletes' visas for these players. So it started with a League of Legends player.
Oh, yeah.
So, he actually casts professionally in Korea now, which is pretty cool. Crumbs.
Crumbs.
Yeah,
Crumbs.
exactly.
Gotcha, yeah.
Soaz, funny that you mentioned that. Soaz is actually on an all-star team right now. He's still playing. He's on the EU all-star team, I believe. The all-stars has happened recently for League of Legends. Unfortunately, not too much actual, again, so just similar to your preseason games, all-stars don't really mean much, but it's a nice time to show off and let the players flex their muscles, presumably, right? In the name of their region, which is extra nice. In a similar way that you guys have been feeling the city pride with Overwatch League, we get to feel the regional pride, which I think NA is like the second best region.
Really?
Clearly second to Korea.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say EU. Ooh.
Who are you?
Ooh, I don't know. I've been missing the hype train for quite a bit now.
So fan voting was the process for player selection, right?
Exactly. So a couple weeks before the actual event, polls were open on the LOL Esports website that allowed you to choose, I want to say, up to 3 members of a specific team, or else we would all just take TSM, really. Please. We've already got Hanser and Bjergsen going representing NA.
For real?
Of course.
Huh.
And Mike Young, who used to be on Phoenix 1, but is now on TSM. So technically that satisfies that. But yeah, they voted for, long story short, you vote for your top person in every lane. So top, jungle, middle, AD carry, and support.
Right.
So, and then the highest percentage of votes gets to go.
Nice.
Be our representatives.
Something like what we did with our World Cup for Overwatch. You kind of voted them in.
With the Overwatch League in 2016, it was like 3 popular votes, and then they chose 3 players.
Yeah.
So Australia's team, their captain was the YouTuber Musilk.
Yeah. Like, you end up with weird things like that sometimes.
But then you also had in the American team, you had Seagull, who is now part of the Dallas Fuel. So.
Yeah. I definitely watched Seagull stream a lot. He's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see him finally get a lot of recognition, because he used to play a lot of TF2, I think, right?
Yep. Yeah. He was a soldier and who else? Soldier and I want to say Pyro. No. It was someone not quite far.
Man?
No, that's the thing is it was very different. So I believe it was like Scout or Pyro, and then Soldier. Because Soldier makes perfect sense on why it'd be Farah. I think it was Scout, because he talked about the reason why he likes Genji is that he likes heroes that allow for creativity. And I feel like Scout has some creativity with the double jump and all that.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It's a very fast-paced, mobile character. And Seagull obviously playing that Genji a lot, so I'm glad we can finally see him on that character.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But as much as you get Seagulls with the popular vote, you also get Musilk. And Musilk's a good player, but he was not that good.
Yeah, more of a content creator, right?
Yeah.
We'll leave the esports to the esports people.
Right.
Honestly, I'm just happy to see all of this esports. I'm really happy that we've got these preseason things, these all-star games to watch, all of this stuff to kind of take in while we wait for the new season to start.
For sure.
Yeah, it's just good to keep the hype up, you know?
Yes.
So let us know what you think. What are you most excited for? What did you like to see most in this preseason so far? Leave a comment and let us know. Now we're on to patch notes, where we talk about specific game changes.
So PUBG, let's get right into it. They're going to be coming out with 2 new maps, at least, so that's good. Miramar is the name of one of them. That's the desert one that's going to be coming out. So with the new maps, they've announced that they're going to be coming out with new vehicles and map-specific weapons. I also saw that the Volkswagen, either the buggy or the van is going to be in the game.
I've seen the Volkswagen van art.
The van.
I'm excited for the Volkswagen van.
Oh, I wanted a punch buggy so bad.
Just soaring over a hill in a little punch buggy.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. That'd be absolutely crazy. But also new maps. So there's a desert map and there's a snow map. Thoughts, guys?
I'm excited for the desert map. It's going to be smaller than our current map we have right now, which I think is going to make it much more fast-paced.
Yeah.
Especially if it's still going to be 99 players on a tinier map. It's going to just be like a bigger school, basically. It's just gonna
Chaos.
be more people.
Just
plus,
the whole map is school, right?
yes. Plus, in a smaller map,
Yeah.
there are desert map-specific weapons and vehicles.
Okay.
And one of which is a sawed-off shotgun.
Oh, yeah. I
And
didn't see
the
that.
sawed-off shotgun is kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. Whenever it shows up in games, I'm always a little bit excited because it's a weapon that doesn't make sense in the real world.
You're a savage.
A little
Wait,
bit.
so
savage.
you say you like the sawed-off shotgun, so you also told me that you bought Counter-Strike recently? Go give the sawed-off shotgun in that game a try. That's how you
no.
feel.
I was gravely disappointed. I've
Yeah.
been there already.
That thing is awful. If you guys aren't familiar with it, the sawed-off shotgun in CSGO is probably the worst shotgun. The worst, like, Nerf gun ever designed. It's a joke, honestly. But you gotta go check it out. PUBG, they do
We'll
have...
see.
Yeah.
In PUBG, it'll take either the route of the Counter-Strike sawed-off shotgun or the Fallout 3 sawed-off shotgun.
Which is just like a nuke in your hands. It's
Exactly.
absolutely ridiculous.
We'll see.
I can see why you like it if Fallout 3 is your reference point.
Yeah.
Because with Counter-Strike as my reference point,
Yeah.
I do not like that gun.
Any other game as your reference point, the sawed-off is a joke. It's Fallout 3. Okay.
I respect it.
Yeah. But also a couple new vehicles. There's a jet ski coming out made out of like wood or copper or something.
I'm just excited for varying vehicles in the water because that means vehicles at different speeds.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
right now, since all boats are the same speed, they can't catch each other. But a jet ski could catch up to a boat, which means we're going to have not only drive-by shootings, but we're going to have like boat drive-by shootings.
Somali pirate things.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah.
Pirate map, pirate fights.
Who
in PUBG.
dominates the waters?
Yeah.
That'll
oh my
be
God.
so cool.
And since it's only two-seater, what happens when your
Yeah.
squad rolls up and the only thing you can find is a jet ski? Who stays behind?
Someone controls the bridge, and then the other two control the water.
Clearly, yes. She's got it figured out.
In addition to the maps and the guns and all the other cool stuff, we've got a game, or rather, a game preview on Xbox right now.
Yeah, I don't know why they went with game preview. The 1.0 for PC is coming out the 20th. That's 8 days from now. Why go with game preview? It says on the Xbox website, because I wasn't really sure what game preview meant, because I don't buy games that say game preview. It's a game. I buy
That's
a game.
a new term.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, what is this? I go on the Xbox website, and it says you can play our version of PUBG Xbox game preview, which means that the game is not finished yet, and it is subject to change at any time. So
That's sweet,
So,
sweet
like,
early access,
early access.
money.
early access? Hello?
on Xbox. This is
Okay.
a new world I don't think I'm ready for.
Yeah, I don't know. Just push out the complete game. If it's going to take you 8 extra days, man, just take the 8 extra days. Like, what is this game preview nonsense?
Another reason why I just don't respect PUBG. It's just ridiculous.
Typically I'd fight for PUBG, but this is one instance where I will not.
I wonder how it's going to do. I mean, we'll just have to see. You guys are interested in getting PUBG for Xbox, let us know, because I'd be really surprised if this pulled a lot of numbers, frankly.
Yeah, I'm curious what people are going to react to playing PUBG on console, because not everyone has a PC that can run PUBG.
That's true.
So
That's true.
is this going to open up for more people? How is it going to run? And how are people going to react to having to wait 8 days if they don't have this Xbox preview thing?
Yeah, and honestly, how well is it going to run? You know, the game does come out today, so we're going to have to keep our eyes peeled on our favorite YouTube reviewers and whatnot, because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but PUBG on PC is an optimized piece of work, if you want to call it. It's very, very well optimized, so we'll have to see how the Xbox performs.
Maybe check out our glitches series on the leaderboard to check out some of the awesome optimizations that Battlegrounds has done for PC.
Fantastically done, runs on a potato, you know. It's such a great game. So good.
Ever talk about the time I drove through a bridge?
Yeah, classic. I love driving through a bridge on a nice Wednesday afternoon. You know, that's just what happens.
And that's pretty much it for patch notes. Let us know what you think were cool game changes that you've experienced lately, or something you wished you could see buffed or nerfed in your favorite game. That's all we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm Judy, aka Jetset.
I'm Jimmy, aka Jim Basco.
And I'm Kyle Stover, aka Alphalance. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to hit that bell icon to become part of the notification squad. And you're watching The Leaderboard, your home for video game facts.